Hey guys, it's Kim. That was really big. Sorry about that. From Dodges and Daisies, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, welcome to my channel. I am mostly a creative journaling channel, but I also do all things papercraft related. So snail mail, ephemera, studio decor, vintage decor, hygge life, things like that. So if it's your first time, welcome. Thanks so much for joining me. Today, our layout looks a little different. Normally, I have a much larger view of the desk with all my plants and my candles burning and things like that to kind of create a cozier atmosphere. But today, we're doing a little bit different of a layout for the flip through, so it's really focused. I apologize, it's so close. So I have wanted to do a flip through of this journal. This was my April New York journal for a while. I kept saying it was going to be my next video, and things just kept coming up that took precedence or had like a time limit with them. So I apologize this has taken so long. But this little journal is finally done, and today is going to be simple, not a craft with me, just a flip through. So first off, I get asked about these journals all the time. They are from a company called Sugar Boo and Company. I find them in local boutiques, but you can also order them online. I've never gotten asked so many times what kind of journal these are. The big one that I use in most of my videos are from the same company, and so is this little one. I think the leather is beautiful. I really like the quotes on them. That's kind of what drew me to them to begin with, because the quotes were just really beautiful. And this one, they do come with the band to close them. All I did was I simply added some charms on a really simple just clip. So because this one is written in, and I'll show you in a moment, this is why I have this really up close version. So that's my cover page, New York, April 2022. That's when we went home to spend a week with my parents. Long Island, New York is where we are from. So most of you guys know we've been living in South Carolina the last 5 years, but Long Island is home, still is home, always will be home. Kind of no matter where we live, you can take the girl out of New York, but you can't take New York out of the girl, especially Long Island. There's something really special about it to me, just growing up on the water and, you know, everything that, you know, went along with that, boats and the ocean and clamming and going to the beach. So it's in my heart, and whenever we do go home, I do bring a travel journal. So for those of you that saw the setup video to this, what I did to make this really easy, I knew we were only staying a week. I knew that I wanted to devote most of that time to my family, spending time with my parents, who I only get to see a couple of times a year. I pre-made all of these pages, and then I left these open for writing. So because of that, that's why this is cropped so close today. The writing is personal. I won't be sharing it. I will just be sharing the layouts. So that's layout number 1. And that's 2. While we were there, Jake and I celebrated our 20-year anniversary together. We haven't been married for 20 years, but we did get together when I was 19. And yeah, we celebrated 20 years together, which is just crazy to me. It's crazy how fast time goes. So as I talked about while making these, I do use a lot of tags and labels. They're really good just if you kind of want like highlights. A lot of times I'll put either the date or the location where we were, and they just work really well to highlight kind of what the main journaling is on the other page. A lot of these stamps, I'm always kind of a fan of little Easter eggs and secret things that people might not notice. A lot of these stamps are stamped with New York, like post stamps. Port Jefferson is actually where we got engaged, so I thought it was cool that I found an old stamp with that. When we are home, we do spend a lot of time out east on Long Island on the North Fork, so you'll definitely be seeing a lot of these labels saying North Fork or out east. It was Easter when we went, so there are a couple of kind of bunny Easter themed spreads where I used kind of just vintage rabbit cutouts. They are available in my web shop if anyone's interested. So these pages with the tiny glassine envelopes in them, there are 4 pages like this in this journal. This is something that I do all the time with travel journals, is I really like to include photos. I did take footage of the photos that went into each one of these pockets. I'm not sure if I'll show them in the beginning or at the end, or kind of interject them as I'm talking, but I really, really love including photos from wherever we are, whether that's home, spending time with people we love, or someplace we don't normally go. I had one year, it was 2014, I'll never forget it, it's my photographer brain, that I lost almost all of my photos from that year due to a Dropbox incident of switching my photo folders from one computer to a new computer. And I will never forget that, because almost that entire year was lost. So I do like printing out my photos and including them in my travel notebooks. I do that quite often just because I feel like it normally doesn't happen. You normally do, save things. I usually back things up on Dropbox, but you just never know when you might lose photos, and having a physical copy of the photo is really important to me. And I do look through old journals, reread them and things like that. And I do look through the photos, and to me it's special to be able to see the photos from that time. As you guys can see, this is a tiny little journal. It was really easy to make very simple spreads that personally I love. I love how almost every single one of them came out, but they were not hard to do. Here's another one with the photos inside. So this journal came together really easily. I had 99% of it done by the time we left. And sometimes I'll seal these photos with just a piece of washi tape, just because it's really easy to peel back the washi and it just kind of holds them in place a little bit better. Doing a flip through holding this up is actually a little bit more difficult than I thought it would be, but hopefully it's not too bad of a video. This is another one that has photos in it. As you either saw before or will see, there's a lot of different photos I included. It included photos of just how my parents' house looks, photos of my family, photos of my favorite places. This one is just an old card. I love the New York stamp. It was from 1906. I just thought that was really special. So there's really not any decoration to this page. I just wanted to include this postcard. In some of these pages, I do include like bags cut out from where we've been. North Fork Roasting Company is our favorite coffee shop to go to while we are there. So we always buy some coffee and bring it home with us. The bags are stamped, so there's a lot of ephemera from our trip too. It's not just pages that were pre-made with like favorite things. A lot of them are. It's another old New York postcard. But some of these have, you know, like pieces of ephemera from the day. Now this last section, I always love picking up vinyl stickers wherever we go, whether that's home or, you know, somewhere that we're usually not. The thing is, vinyl stickers are usually very hardy and they're very expensive. They usually go on things like water bottles or laptops, cars. My water bottles, my iPad, like everything that I own is kind of already filled. So I still like getting them because I feel like they're a piece of where we are, and I'm really, really into that. I love having like tangible physical pieces from our trips and wherever we go, but I also kind of feel bad that they're so expensive. So I thought, why not if I save like the end of this book and kind of make it a sticker book? So I wound up just setting aside some pages at the end for business cards of like favorite shops, and also just these vinyl stickers. There's also, like I said before, just bags from our favorite spots and different places that we shop at and went to. But I kind of thought having everything together in the end was just kind of a way to make a special spot for these vinyl stickers, where I kind of just felt like it was a bit of ephemera from the time we were gone. It was a bit of a sticker book, and it just kind of gave them like a special spot where I didn't feel too guilty about buying $3 stickers or $4 stickers and just sticking them in a journal. So yeah, I gave them a special spot at the end. This one is a little bit of a fun story. We did buy a car while we were home, and yeah, it's actually our first car in a really long time. We are leasers, and we've been leasing for, I'd want to say, the last 10 years. And we actually bought a car while we were home. It was something that was really special to us because we've been working for a long time on just things like getting our credit score up and cleaning up debt. We've just been hard at work because there are just goals in our lives, like getting a house and things like that, that we've been hard at work on while in South Carolina. So buying a car was a very big deal to us. And this is kind of an inside joke because I like the new license plates. The old New York license plates weren't really great, but they're expensive. Jake surprised me by getting a new license plate on our car. And this is my family. This is the entire reason for going, the entire reason for going home to me. There's no three people I love more in this world than my parents and Jake. And I just wanted to end the journal with kind of the heart behind the trip and the reason for it all. So yeah, that is a flip through of the New York journal. I've said before, but I'll say it again, it's really easy for me to start journals. I tend to work in about like 10 to 15 at a time, but it's difficult for me to finish them. And pre-making most of the pages before we even left just allowed me to finish this, number one. There's nothing I love more than a completed journal, and it's special to me, especially since it takes me a while to complete them. But also be really present and in the moment with my family and with the things that we were doing. You know, it allowed me to journal day of using the backs of the pages, so everything was really fresh in my mind when I wrote it. I wrote details about being away that I probably wouldn't have remembered once we came back, just things like movies we watched at night and different little details from the day. So having most of this finished beforehand really was very helpful. I have a few videos about pre-making travel journals. If you look back to my content from maybe a couple of months ago, this is in there, as well as a few other journals that I pre-made. It just helps me stay present, focus on the things that I want to focus on, and also complete journals. I have a lot more completed journals since I've started this method. As for the photos, I included everything. I included the trip down. I took a few COVID tests, so I included like my negative COVID test like screenshots, because my dad is an autoimmune compromised person because he had a kidney transplant. So I'm always super careful when I visit them. I made myself take 2 COVID tests on the road there just to be uber safe, that he was going to be safe. You know, I don't take things lightly with COVID, especially having an immune compromised parent. I would never want to put him in danger. So I stopped twice to take those tests just to make sure I was clear. But yeah, everything, because, you know, one day we're going to look back and COVID's not going to be as prevalent as it is now. And it's part of the memory. It's part of the story, right? I include good things and bad things in my journals. So the COVID tests were in there. We stopped at Barnes & Noble, and I saw my In Her Studio cover and article while we were there, and it was just kind of surreal still seeing like my studio in a Barnes & Noble in a different state. So I took a picture of that. There's pictures of things, like I said, like the way my mom decorates, or family heirlooms, the beach down the block from our house, and not just the special things, but, you know, my favorite tree from when I was younger and it was in bloom, just things like that. Things that you don't think are big things usually are the biggest things. So all of that stuff was included in the photos, and you will see that in the footage. So thank you guys so much for coming along with me and flipping through my journal with me. I hope to do more flip throughs in the future. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. This channel is super tiny right now because I started YouTube this year. So that's, I want to say like 6 years after Instagram. So there's a bit of a discrepancy with my Instagram page and my YouTube page. Any kind of encouragement, because I actually surprised myself and wound up loving YouTube, like loving YouTube. I love how slower the pace is. I love how more personal you can be. I love just kind of more how human you can kind of be and just talk a little bit more and take a slower pace. So any kind of support of this channel, whether it's a thumbs up or a subscribe or a comment, everything helps grow this. And I don't want to say that numbers are important to me, because I try really hard not to focus on numbers, but just growing this channel is important to me because it's something that I surprised myself and wound up really loving. I really love spending time with you guys on here. All right, that's it. I am wishing you all my best. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you soon.